Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Alicia. I'm the owner and maker of It's a Crafting. So in this video, I am making two tumblers and I am using a dragon image that I designed using AI, and I fell in love with the images that it came up, so that's why I made two tumblers. All right, so I'm starting out with this stainless steel, 20 ounce skinny straight stainless steel. I am sanding it and wiping it with 91% alcohol. I start my tumblers, pretty much all my tumblers this way. Then I go ahead and spray paint it. Now I'm only doing this to the one, and this is the color. It's the Berry Pink by Rustoleum, because I'm using this beautiful pink glitter by Glitter Makes It, and I will post a picture as I'm narrating this. And I am applying this glitter using the epoxy method. So I only use a very little amount of epoxy. I use a quick set epoxy and just enough to coat the cup. Now the reason why I'm applying this glitter using the epoxy method is because it is chunky glitter. And I find that I get a better adhesion when I use the epoxy method. And it pretty much dries in the same amount of time anyway. So this epoxy dries in about 2 hours. It's Counterculture DIY. I absolutely love. They are my favorite quick dry epoxy. So I haven't, I don't have a whole lot to compare it to, but I used to use Stone Coat epoxy and they're pretty comparable too. All right, so here is this glitter. Now I had no idea how gorgeous this glitter was until I started putting it on the cup, and I was like, oh my wowzers. Like, I almost don't even want to cover any of it with an image, but this image does outweigh, like, I don't know which I like more, the glitter or the image, but when I put them together, it is love at first sight. So I tap that off, and then I come in and I use a fine glitter that kind of matches. Oh, well, before that, I'm going to flatten this, flatten these big ones up. So I want to do this, or you want to do this with a chunky glitter, because if it sticks up, then you need too many coats of epoxy. There's too much sanding. It looks like crap. So use some parchment paper and go ahead and just roll it in there and smash it all down. And then I'm going to put this aside, and I'm going to come in with my fine glitter. And I'm going to do the bottom. I don't do the bottom in chunky glitter anymore. I used to, and I found it was just too difficult to get flat and manage and maintain it, and it just wasn't worth it. So I do the bottom in the fine glitter. And then I'm going to go over the entire cup. I'm just going to go all out and do a full dump on this with this fine glitter and fill in any spots that may have been missed because of the chunky glitter either being, shifted when it was being flattened down or whatever. And it just fills in the spaces, and it looks stunning. I'm not going to lie. I think it's absolutely stunning. That's my opinion. So we're going to tap off that excess. And I'm going to use the parchment paper again, and I'm going to roll it and smooth it all out. So this is kind of like a beginner tutorial as well, because I'm going over again, which I've done this stuff before, but I like to just go over it and pretend like some of you are first, viewing this, viewing how to do a tumbler for the first time. And so now, once we get that nice and flattened out, I'm going to go above the rim and make sure there's nothing poking up. I had some issues with my insert. It got shoved down there. So I had to pull that back up, and just making sure there's nothing sticking up. And then I'm going to let this sit and dry for a couple of hours. So this is what it looks like after a couple hours. I'm in love. All right, so now it is time for epoxy, and I am not going to seal this with anything. And the reason why I'm not going to seal it is because it's one glitter color. I'm not worried about it blending into each other. The only thing is if there was a lot of loose pieces, then I would have sealed it, because you don't want to create any high spots or low spots. You don't want it to shift too much, and you don't want the glitter that you press down sticking up. So that would be the only other reason why you would go ahead and seal this. But if you pressed it down pretty good, you're not really going to have much coming off. So I used 35 mLs of epoxy, and it soaked every bit of it up. And then I came back with a second coat and used another 20 mLs. So it was 2 coats of epoxy before I decided to do, or before it was ready for the vinyl wrap. And it really didn't need much sanding, just a little bit of sanding to make it smooth. All right, so now that this has been curing for a couple of hours, I'm cleaning this rim with 91% alcohol, as well as, acetone actually. And I'm just taking a craft knife and getting off those pokies. I'm just giving the whole cup a light sanding. I wiped it with 91% alcohol using a filter, a coffee filter, because they don't emit fibers like paper towels do. So they're really good to have on hand for a final wipe. All right, so here is my image that I printed up. So you're going to see this was too small. On the other cup that I did, which I'm like doing this backwards, I printed it up as 9.3, and it's like almost 6 inches, right? Well, look, I did 9.3. That's how much bigger a cup will be once you have two coats of, a coat of glitter and 2 coats of epoxy. So this wound up being 9.6 in length, and the height increased just a hair. So you saw how I put this on as far as a full vinyl wrap. I treat it like a full vinyl wrap, and I peel off a little bit. I measure it up. I get it lined up. Then I take that piece off, and I, smooth everything down. Now I just have this gold pinstriping. It is like this brushed gold pinstriping that I use on the top and the bottom. Okay, adding my final coat of epoxy before I'm ready to move on to the next one. Okay, so I'm just going to stop right there and just do some explanation first before I move on to the final part of the tutorial in the second cup. So 2 years ago, I created this video, a dragon scale tumbler, 3D tumbler tutorial. And so I did a vinyl wrap and then did 3D eyes. So I wound up doing a couple of vinyl wraps. Somebody had placed an order for a couple of vinyl wraps, a couple of these cups, and then she backed out. So what I had on hand was a cup that was I already covered it. I already did the vinyl wrap, and I've done tons of vinyl wraps. And so if you're not familiar with vinyl wraps, just do what I did in the beginning part of this video, and then you just would do it with a full vinyl piece. So I downloaded this pattern from Design Bundles, and I'm going to link it down below as I did in my other video. And the color that I came up with, the color that I used was this one. I believe it was this one. Yeah, it was this one right here. And so I already had the tumbler wrapped, so I didn't show you in this video because it was already wrapped. And I already added epoxy with glitter called Fresh Snow from Glitter Makes It. And of course, that's going to be listed and linked down below with a discount code so that you could order this if you want it, if you don't already have it, and you get a 30% off. So that's what I did. I full vinyl wrapped a 20-ounce skinny straight. I did spray paint it blue beforehand. And then I did a glitter coat with this, and now it is ready for the second partial vinyl wrap. All right, here we go. All right, I'm just going to slow this down a little bit and explain this better than I did in the first. So what I am doing here is I have my vinyl, and I am basically peeling off the back about 1/4 of an inch or so. I'm going to peel it back. See the image? And this is a different image than the first one. I was going to use the same image, and then I decided I wanted to change it. So I used 2 different images here. All right, so I cut this piece off. And now what I'm going to do is basically I'm going to place it back on that spot, leaving like barely any overhang, just enough to kind of like stick it to the cup when I got it lined up, because I don't want it to stick before I'm ready to place it. I want to be able to still move it around, but then when I'm ready, I want it to stick. So here's my vinyl wrap with the glitter over it already. And make sure you line it up so that it's going the right way. I have definitely placed some the wrong way. So don't be afraid to check that bad boy twice. Sorry, dog's barking in the background. That's Frank barking at the wind. All right, so we're going to make sure that these seams are lined up. And look, if they're off a hair, don't worry about it. We are going to do a pinstriping around the bottom and the top. So after you get that placed and you're satisfied, you're just going to pull that vinyl back and press it down. And then just make sure it's nice and secure. And then you're going to flip the cup and you're going to just start peeling back the rest of your backing. And I smooth it out with my fingers. I didn't have my little squeegee tool with the felt on the end of it handy, so I just used my fingers. But those work really well to smooth them out and make sure there's no bubbles or anything in your vinyl. So I get this placed. I'm really happy with where it's at. And then I'm going to take my vinyl stripes, and here they are. They are like this brushed, like light gold, not like a bright gold, but like a light gold. And it works so well with these colors. It just looks so pretty. It makes the cup just look really nice and finished. So you see how I'm applying it. I find it easier when you're applying the pin striping to start at the seam, and then just gonna roll the cup and just hold it taut and make sure you smooth it out afterwards that there's no bubbles. But I like lay it down, smooth it with my thumb, and then we go ahead and do the other side the exact same way. And now this cup is ready for epoxy. I'm so excited because I really love these images and the colors. Everything came together so easily on this one. I don't know. So 20 mLs of epoxy. You can use whatever epoxy you want, whatever your favorite. And then what I did was I 3D printed my initials, AV, and I've started putting these on the bottom of my cup to give myself credit for my work and my designs. And so how I'm going to secure these is using UV resin. I'm not a fan of UV resin. It's expensive and it smells. And it does yellow much faster than the other stuff. But for the bottom of the cup, I'm not too worried about it. So I put a little bit down and put my emblems in there just kind of to get it like stuck, and I position it around. Use your heat torch to pop any bubbles, and then I'm going to put this under the UV lamp for 99 seconds. Once that's nice and secure, I'm going to come in with UV resin, and I'm going to basically fill that well. And I'm just using the end of a paintbrush. I find it's small and easy to move the epoxy around. And this will self-level too. When you heat it up and, move it around, it'll kind of self-level. And so that's really it. I'm going to do that with both of these cups, and then these cups are going to be done. I am so happy with how they came out. I love that AI generated these super beautiful images. I am such a big dragon fan, if you haven't figured that out by now, by looking at some of my other videos. But I want to know, guys, what you think. This or that. Which one is your favorite? Do you like just the glitter one? Do you like the one that looks like that has the dragon scales? Tell me what you think in the comments below. I love to hear your feedback. Please make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, share. All those things help my channel to grow. Don't forget to check out the description box down below for a link to products that I used and discount codes as well. So that is it for this week's tutorial, guys. I will see you all next time. Bye. All right, just one last thing. I decided after I was done editing this video that I wanted to make these images available to you for purchase if you absolutely love them, since they are generated by my AI and you're not going to find them anywhere else in any design space. I opened a brand new Etsy shop, so I'm going to link it down below in the description box. So if you love it, buy it, help support me. And this is it now. I will see you next time. Bye.